So here there's user Aryan, and I have a directory here which has 3 directories. If we want a directory to be date restricted, its name should be inside some ways, some types of names, and they are like this. For directories, they can be these formats, and for files, they can be these formats. So for files, they are the date formats followed by a dot and followed by whatever name you want. So in my directory, I have these 3 directories. 2 of them belong to user Aryan, and 1 of them belongs to user intent. Now I will set the attribute called date restricted for this parent directory to 1. It was 0. If I set it to 1, it means this directory is now going to restrict the directories for users based on their dates. And as we saw, the user intern was here restricted until 2016. So now that the date restricted, let me also, I switch it back to 0, and for user intern, I look at the contents of the file. As you see, the user intern can also see all of the contents of the file. Now I set this date restricted to 1. And if you see, now the user intern can only see the directory that belong to Aryan, but is inside its date range because it is before 2016, which is set here. So one of the directories that it sees is inside the date range, and the other belongs to himself. But for the directory that belonged to Aryan and was not in their date range, they are not able to see the directory anymore. And if we look at the directory using Aryan, we can see these files, for example. Now, if I do this, I can also see the contents of the file by this user. But with user intern, now I am not able to see them because it is date restricted. Now, it doesn't even know that the file exists to see its contents. Now, if I again switch back the date restricted X attribute to 0, which means it is not restricted, now the user intent can see the file. So this is the date restriction.
So just now we showed you how the date range restrictions work, but I want to show you how to actually change the date range restrictions. So you can do it in 2 places. You can do it on the management console or inside of a terminal. So we'll do it in the management console first. First thing we do is go to FSDB restrictions. And you can see here that the user Colby has the date range restriction of 2120, December 31st. So this user Colby can view any file or directory up until this date. So say we didn't want to put this, we actually wanted to put 2012. So we do 2012. So December 31st, 2012 would be the date that the user Colby can see files or directories up to. So all we would do is make those changes and then click save. You can see down here that these changes were saved. And then to make these restrictions actually show up, we have to go down to services and reset the service. So we have to go to user DB and reload user DB. Click reload. And again, the user DB has been successfully reloaded, and now those date range restrictions are in actual CASFS. So you can also do this in the terminal. So I have a spawned instance right now this is running CASFS. So you want to navigate to this directory right here, so etc CASFS plus FSDB. And then from here you can see that there is a file called restrictions.yaml. And this is the same thing that we saw in the management console. So all we have to do to change that, you can use Nano, you could use Vim, you could use whatever you like, but I'm going to use Nano right now. So again, we'll go down and change this. So now it's 2012, say we wanted it as 2013. Go ahead and save that. And now we need to reload the user DB again. So we could go back to the management console and do it here, or we can send a request to the localhost API that is running this to reload the user DB. So we'll do that with this command. So it's curl post localhost 8081 reload user DB. So we'll run that, and you can see user reload has been requested. And so to confirm that that has been changed, we can do cat restrictions, and we'll see that the date range is now 2013. And that is how you modify the restrictions with CASFS.